Hello folks, this is Paragon RG, and you are watching another daily casted match of Age of Empires 4. Today, this game, we have, on the west side of the map, in the blue, Whatevs, who I believe to be RecoN, who last I checked was about number 13 on the ladder. Very, very talented player. Has done pretty well for himself in the early tournaments as well. But speaking of doing well for himself in early tournaments, on the east side of the map, in the red, we have DeMuslim playing as the Holy Roman Empire, and he won the second major AoE 4 tournament. That was the Steel Series 20k tournament, December 18th. Really impressive play from him. So I'll be watching a lot of his games. He's made a pretty good dash toward the top of the ladder, and so keeping an eye on his playstyle, finding out if he does anything new and interesting, and so on. By the way, did not mention that RecoN is playing as the Rus. So Rus versus Holy Roman Empire. And the map here is Nagari. Let's take a little look at that before we go too much further. Also, I have to keep in mind, I sometimes forget and don't notice when players place docks. So we actually have a dock going on the back pond for DeMuslim as well as for RecoN. Looks like RecoN's is a little further ahead, which might give him a small boost. So neither player opting to go for that center pond. So keep in mind, these are all, well, not these side ones, but all of these fish here are deep sea fish. 2,000 food on each, and they provide faster food collection. Combined with the fact that fishing ships are just generally fast, this is a ton of food in the middle of the map. So we'll have to keep an eye on whether players choose to go for that. Now, RecoN here is pretty unlucky. There are no deep sea fish. He's going to the one that maybe looks like it is, but you'll notice on the mini-map there are no fish symbols on his pond. So this is actually pretty nasty. He has 5 total, so 5,000 fish here, all shore fish. On the other hand, look at DeMuslim's side. 4 deep sea fish. That's 8,000 food right there, right by his dock, collecting really quickly, plus 6 more of these. So 14,000 fish total in his pond. He doesn't even need to go for the middle. So very, very good map spawn for DeMuslim. We'll see if he's able to take advantage of that in this game. In terms of build orders, I don't expect anything too crazy. I say that. We actually see an early barracks coming out from DeMuslim. So likely spearmen going to be produced to head out on the map, look for any docks from RecoN, and burn them down. If he can prevent docks from being created. RecoN is playing as the Rus. So any fishing ships, let's say this dock goes down, these fishing ships don't actually need to drop off. We'll see if I can find any. Okay, I'll keep one selected. You'll see it get to 40, and then it'll just jump to 0, and his food will go up. They don't need to come back to the dock. And that is a special bonus for the Ladya fishing boats, which are specific to the Rus. So you'll see here, getting to 40, 9, 40, drop off, plus 40, and they keep going. So they don't actually need docks to keep up. So presumably what DeMuslim is thinking here is if he can get some spearmen out on the map, he can burn down any docks before they create too many fishing ships. Now, I'm not sure. Let's take a look at what he sees. He has at least scouted this, and he knows there are no docks here, at least as of this time of scouting. Now, he has spearmen running around here. He's probably expecting some kind of dock to be here. I don't think these spearmen are going to make it out this far and be able to take out this dock. And even if they do, RecoN may even be finished making fishing ships by that point. So, spearmen getting out here now. They're going to find nothing. So nice little, nice attempt from DeMuslim. I like the idea of it. But in this, so good decision, I would say. But in this particular case, did not work out. So he will continue forward to see what his opponent is up to and check for any shenanigans. Say that he turns back, goes forward again. We'll see what he does. Still one dock for both. I say that for both? Yeah, okay, this is just a big cluster of fish. So we have 6 fishing ships back here versus 4 for DeMuslim, 5 coming out. And remember, you simply get an efficiency bonus. That's the 7th coming out now for using these Ladya fishing boats because they don't need to drop off, which is a non-trivial part of the time cost in fishing. So definitely I expect higher food generation from RecoN. Don't really see that. It looks like it is now, but so possibly So only 1 on food here, and still quite a few on sheep there. So plus they're buffed up by the prelate. So that probably makes up that difference. DeMuslim now has the resources to click up. He's about to do that. And he goes up with the Auckland Chapel, which is not too surprising. Doesn't manage to get a gold in its radius. But the spearmen do make it back here. So I was definitely wrong about that. I just expected it would be too far. They'd get caught by something along the way. That being said, there are no military buildings out from RecoN. So there's only so much he can do. He is now going down with the barracks. So this decision from DeMuslim is looking better and better. He's really going to focus down this dock. Now, there are only 2 spearmen on it. So pretty slow. This thing going down, 20 hit points at a time, effectively. Barracks going to be out. A few spearmen should be able to clear that up. Another spearman coming in from DeMuslim. So taking out this dock is going to be, this is the center of play for the next period of time here. RecoN adding a wall toward the bottom of his base. So trying to keep the play toward the top side of the map. I don't actually know how much I like this. I feel like this is too defensive. He doesn't have a good pond here, and he should know it. There's no deep sea fish. He's actually in threat of losing this dock, and we know this is a good spot. Now, it does look like he's placed a dock here, so perhaps I take that part back, but that leads me to question why he has placed the wall in the first place. But anyway, nevertheless, getting onto the center, and he's starting with an attack ship, just in case there is a dock from his opponent on the other side, and so he can defend this thing if these spearmen run around to it. So, this dock looks like it's almost down, almost set on fire here. Not Mongols, won't get a bonus for that, but nevertheless, this thing will start ticking down a little faster now. 3 spearmen coming out. Villager coming out as well, so RecoN really needs to save this dock. He knows it. To be honest, that being said, he thinks he needs to save it. Maybe he doesn't. I mean, he has a dock in the middle now. He has Laudia fishing ships, so they don't need to drop anything off, though they are on the shore, so they can get attacked by the spearmen. You'll see if the spearmen turn around here. They're actually pretty quick at torching them down. Yeah, look at the damage they do to that. 12.5 each, I guess. We'll get chased away by a few spears now. RecoN is also adding a wall behind his dock in the center. So I do like this play. This makes sense to me. I think he needs to do this. I'm just a little skeptical about this wall, unless its purpose was to trap in these spearmen, but that seems like an overplay if that was the case. RecoN went up with the Golden Gate, standard economic landmark for the Rus. He'll be able to generate supplies. Each supply allows him to make a favorable trade at a rate of 100 resources to 150. So, beneficial. You can only do one of those per minute, so it's only so beneficial, but it's nice because you can swap which resource you have, right? So, it's best not to think of it as a bonus of 50 resources per minute, but rather that you can convert a bunch of wood you have to quite a bit more gold. Or, for example, you can add a second TC, which requires stone, just by buying it with 200 gold. So, being chased away. Quite a few villagers on gold here. So it looks like RecoN is not going with the standard horse archer play we've been seeing. And in fact, this is a fast castle. I have not been keeping a close eye on his resources. But he is going up with the Abbey of the Trinity. This will allow him to create warrior monks and run around on the map and try to collect the relics. Meanwhile, DeMuslim is also saving up resources for the Castle Age. Probably identifies there's very little coming out from RecoN, so he doesn't need to produce any more military. In fact, he actually forced RecoN to produce more spearmen than he himself made, and he took out a dock. So not too bad at all from DeMuslim. Oops, let me see over here. Looks like spearmen getting a couple hits off on the scout of DeMuslim. Muslim is going to want to keep this thing alive, needs to run away, is not able to do so. We'll lose that scout, and to be honest, scouts are pretty darn important in situations like these. Think about this. You can place a scout, here, and even troops running through, the chances are they run on this side. You'll see them, they won't see you, and you get advance notice of just about anything. Or you can even put a scout somewhere like this, or here, and keep an eye on troops as they're leaving the base of RecoN. So that is a loss. Now it looks like DeMuslim I think he built this thing. I didn't notice how many villagers were on it, but he's up to the Regnitz Cathedral. Already prelates coming in, dropping off relics. Oh, this is a interesting location for a villager. I'm not too sure what's going on here. Chopping some trees in a stealth forest. We'll have to keep an eye on what that is about. Cool. Prelate just buffing up the villagers on the gold here. Looks like we have the first men-at-arms and knight out from DeMuslim. So DeMuslim starting to pump out some troops here. I think mostly at this point he wants to grab the relics on the map, and he knows he's competing with a Rus player. Rus players, of course, also, well, everyone wants the relics, but Rus players particularly able to get them because of their warrior monks. Now, these spearmen are hardened. They're not yet veteran, so that may be the only reason why these knights are even interested in taking this battle. Knights plus the men-at-arms are enough to take out the spearmen here. Even if DeMuslim loses a knight or two and he gets the relics, that's, you know, a relic can be 300 gold per minute for him, so it can definitely be worthwhile. We'll get a quick relic count in just a second. We don't have a tracker for that. So in the meantime, DeMuslim continues to drive off the forces of his opponent. We'll see this attack ship. If he didn't know before, he definitely knows his opponent now has a dock. But look at this. Palace of Swabia, I believe, coming out for DeMuslim. This is a fast Imperial Age. That's 11.5 minutes. This thing is clicked up. Going up with 8 villagers. So probably by 12.5, 13 at most minutes. He'll have the Palace of Swabia and will be quadruple producing villagers, or at least producing at 4 times the speed. RecoN, meanwhile, has been walling himself in. I can't help but feel like DeMuslim is in control of this game. Yes, he does not have map control, and we will still, oh, looks like this relic has been grabbed by RecoN, very nicely done by him. So he doesn't have map control, but he doesn't really need it. Yes, he wanted those relics, but he has the Palace of Swabia. So he'll be able to get so many villagers out, he'll do a massive boom, and he'll attempt to win in the Imperial Age. He may get enough forces to get out here and build a dock here. Maybe force off this ship if he wants longer-term food generation in the middle of the map, as well as just pushing out RecoN, who is getting an absolute ton of food. There's 8 Laudia fishing ships here, and we're on... Oh, have we been on income per minute this whole time? Whoopsies, that's a mistake by me. But you'll see... Actually, yeah, whatev's still lower in food income. Looks like it's switched over now. That is interesting. And running out of food on this back line could be a part of that. So he may need to commit harder. And looks like we do see more fishing ships coming out. 9, a 10th being produced there now. So DeMuslim has hit the Imperial Age. Let's check out his Palace of Swabia. Absolutely pumping out villagers. Let's go back to current resources. RecoN is saving up food. He's really low on gold. But remember, he can sell food if he chooses. He doesn't have any supplies currently, but that is one way to get at least some of the gold that he needs to reach the Imperial Age. Let us, while we watch... Oh, horse archers. For a minute, these looked like Mangodai, and I had a massive bout of confusion. So, 62 villagers for DeMuslim versus the 63 of his opponent. Let's watch that, because... So, a lot of the reason for this is the fishing ships of RecoN. And... Oh, interesting. Okay, it didn't follow because I switched players there. But once... we're going to see this really pick up for DeMuslim. And I believe RecoN is on a timer here. He needs to do damage quickly. He needs to commit even harder, potentially to the center of the map, for increased food production. And just keeping up in economic units. And in terms of military, it's 30 for RecoN and 18 for DeMuslim. So... RecoN, that being said, does have a bunch of spearmen in here, and they're mostly elite men-at-arms. They're Imperial Age units. So DeMuslim's army is probably more powerful here. These horse archers can maybe turn around, kill a few units here and there, but these units are being driven home. Are they still... Okay, they are veteran spearmen. They're not hardened anymore, so at least they are the Castle Age variant. If we look back here, DeMuslim has been doing a good job. He's got 14 fishing ships, and these are deep sea fish. So they are going to run out, but he has more time. And he may use that time. He can drive his opponent back here, as I mentioned, get a dock in this area, and open a new front against RecoN, particularly once he has an economic advantage in villagers. And we see 78 economy now versus 73. So that lead in terms of villagers is starting to build. Now, lots of horse archers here. These men-at-arms, I think, are not long for this world. RecoN's going to spend his APM just targeting down these men-at-arms. Now, these men-at-arms do buy DeMuslim time. He is ahead in villagers, right? There's only so much damage that he needs to actually do, whereas RecoN is the one that is on the timer. Let's take a quick... So, men-at-arms are cleaned up here by the horse archers. Not too effective from him other than as a stalling tactic. Body attack ship looks like it did survive. Meanwhile, we have a bunch of villagers headed out this way. And it looks like a mining camp was... Yeah, what happened to that villager out here? It chopped this tree. Oh, geez, I wonder how long... This thing took, what, 69 wood from this tree. So that guy was probably walking back and forth many times to accomplish that. 24 horse archers now coming forward for RecoN. So it looks like that gold production was really just to get to the castle age he needed. We'll take a look at, or perhaps to get upgrades. He has 8 villagers on gold now. He is not clicked up yet to the Imperial Age, adding 2 barracks as well. So starting to make more, what's the word here? Starting to add more troop types. Perhaps going for a more diverse unit composition. That's what I was looking for. Look at all these knights going down from DeMuslim. These horse archers are so effective. He did lose 3, maybe 4 of them. But knights are quite a bit more expensive. I believe they are double the price. So, more elite knights now, going to be trying to drive away these horse archers. These things are going to do a ton of damage. Let's see when they get their lance out. 29 damage regularly. And then when they have their charge, it should be something like 45. 43 damage out on the charge. So continuing to just drive back the horse archers. And remember, DeMuslim doesn't necessarily need to do any more than this. Just taking a quick look over here, I saw some red on the map. Elite men-at-arms causing some problems. Killed at least 1 villager. Let's take a look at the economies. 105 versus 83. DeMuslim's villager lead starting to grow. Meanwhile, he is torching down the gate of his opponent. I'm somewhat surprised he didn't torch this down and take out the dock, but actually I say that, silly thing to say. RecoN can simply upgrade 1 or more of these ships to attack ships, at which point these men-at-arms will just get shot down. Men-at-arms starting to kill some villagers here now as well. I think RecoN is in trouble. He's headed home. That is a really bad sign. As we mentioned, he needs to have the advantage. And I didn't get a good look at the relic count before, but it looks like at least 3 relics going for DeMuslim. And do we see 2 relics here? I see 1. Are there 4 relics for DeMuslim? All right, horse archers back here, starting to fire at these men-at-arms now. These guys are speedy now. Look at this. Just causing so many problems. RecoN is in such a bad spot. He can keep killing men-at-arms all he likes, well, up to a point, at which point he has to get something done. He has to get into DeMuslim's base. DeMuslim is now starting to try to set up docks. So we'll see if he's able to do that. There are attack ships waiting for this. I don't know how he thinks he can pull that off exactly. The next wave, this time knights coming in, driving villagers off of the forward wood for RecoN. And you have to figure RecoN's starting to wonder what his chances are in this game. You know, he knows he's got to know he needs to get something done. He feels himself getting pushed back. He has all these horse archers. Pardon me, horse archers. For some reason, I have a hard time saying that. But he's on the defensive with them, and that never feels good. Now, these knights just looping back, just causing some problems. That's probably because there are now more men-at-arms coming in here, and that was almost the worst possible time to build this gate. Men-at-arms coming, they potentially could have walked right through that point. Quite a few more streaming forward toward that gate. So do we see a 4th relic? So there's 1, 2, 3. Is there a monastery with a 4th relic for DeMuslim? That is the question. Or no, sorry, there's still one on the map. Okay, so we have 3 versus 1 relics currently, which means the Muslim can still potentially get one more, although his Regnus Cathedral is full, so it will only be worth 100 gold per minute instead of 300. Still, that would make a pretty big difference. Gate being torched down here, now being fired at by horse archers. Looks like he's just going to go for it. Yeah, gate going down. Just going to take the losses. RecoN does now reach the Imperial Age. We'll take a look at what he went up with. The High Armory. So he will get a bonus to Siege. But it makes me wonder what he's going for. Other than maybe Bombards or Mangonels? Or is that just, you know, the sort of default option? Just the better generic option from the Rus player when hitting the 4th age. Spins off some of these men-at-arms, going to start torching down to town center. Knights now running in, fighting other knights and horse archers. DeMuslim, knowing he doesn't really need to get in any damage here. He has so many units streaming in. This first wave barely needs to do anything at all. Units torching down all kinds of things here. Look at this. 1 damage for each arrow. These men-at-arms have 8 ranged armor. And you know what? They would probably even take out this town center if these horse archers didn't jump on it. But these men-at-arms will go down. So more forward troops lost from DeMuslim. Looks like he has failed to get his docks up here. He's building an outpost now. He'll probably build another forward outpost. Or maybe even upgrade this one to a ballista tower or cannon tower even if he has the... Neither player has the stone, so perhaps a... Well, I guess you need stone for all the upgrades. So we'll see how he chooses to use that outpost. Look at all these men-at-arms. Yeah, let's take a look at the economies. 134 versus 80. Okay, that is extremely one-sided. Now, that does mean that RecoN has a larger cap for his military. And this is a pretty big military. 74 against only 50 of DeMuslim. And they're horse archers. Horse archers are really good units. They're very impactful per population space. Some people would argue, you know, overpowered or let's just say overtuned. But these are excellent units. Coming forward, looks like now with elite... Oh, still veteran spearmen. Never mind, I have my unit models mixed up. More men-at-arms now coming in from the other side. DeMuslim just switching sides. Just back and forth. You push back this side, I'm going to hit the other side. I'm sure now he does have to turn back a little bit. Oh, look at all these villagers on gold here. So DeMuslim definitely running out of gold on his side, and that may actually be one reason why this outpost is here. Trying to now torch down these bloody attack ships with men-at-arms. So this only works, of course, if RecoN is not looking. So we'll see how successful he is with that. May need another outpost while this is going on. Horse archers now in on DeMuslim's base. DeMuslim's in trouble here. All of his stables are... So they're on his production. Which means that any knights that pop out can get shot at immediately. Now, they're all queued forward, so he is trying to get aggressive with them. This does look like, to me, to be the right play. Has his men-at-arms jumping on these units. They're now retreating. Any knights that pop out will jump right into battle, and we see a few now. I don't want to say DeMuslim's lucky there, but he could have been in a bad spot. For example, if these were maybe his... Oh, his barracks are here as well. I think he just has enough production facilities that jumping on his production only matters so much. He's able to produce so much of it. Quickly, let's pop over to here. Front buildings being destroyed from RecoN by DeMuslim. Pulling back for now. Lots of horse archers in defense. Horse archers being pulled back on this side. Knights doing an excellent job. Even if they are being sniped down, they are excellent at just driving back their opponents. No docks managing to get up from DeMuslim. So still failing to get set up on that front. Looks like elite horse archers now. Very nice. These things do 17 damage. They're actually pretty wild. Now the men-at-arms have 8 pierce armor, which is phenomenal. But still, you know, 9 damage getting coming in on each one of them. You know, only takes so many archers, horse archers to one-hit these guys. Well, I guess 30 would do it, something like A little under 30. So, I wouldn't be surprised if DeMuslim moves to this gold very shortly. This one is, you know, almost a quarter down here, and it's almost completely saturated. And he needs the gold. He needs them for men-at-arms. He definitely needs them for knights. Now, he does have the Regnitz Cathedral. It's easy to forget that. Ignore what this says here. It is providing him 900 gold per minute right now, which is pretty wild. He's taking some losses, just going to push through. Oh, it doesn't even need to push through the gate. There's a hole in the wall here already. Looks like maybe that was his handiwork from the last time. I love this. Spins off a few men-at-arms just to cause more problems for his opponent. He's pop-capped now, and his opponent is at 64 villagers. So he knows at this point, he's pop-capped. I mean, the best thing he can do is throw away his troops in order to cause damage. Continuing to push back these horse archers. Take a quick look over here. Horse archers trying to push forward. RecoN is not keeping a close eye on this. They're currently stuck shooting an outpost, which does not help him very much at all. Quite a few horse archers here could be doing more damage for sure. They're now getting jumped on. This looks like a pretty bad battle. Pop back over here really quickly. Most of DeMuslim's troops are cleaned up in RecoN's base. There are a few more here. Ooh, look at how many horse archers have gone down here. RecoN's going to be regretting this one. That is a really big loss. It is now 200 population against 107 with only 65 villagers. So double the economy now for DeMuslim. He has the gold he needs. He has the Regnitz Cathedral. He can keep saturating more of these gold mines. Folks, the game is over. DeMuslim takes it. Really solid economic game from him. The slow, steady map control game. Defeating RecoN on Nagari. This has been Paragon RG. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, subscribe for daily matches, and I will catch you next time.